in the golden kingdom of Lumeria, where the rooftops shimmered like polished coins under the sun, and the rivers sang softly as they curved through emerald fields, there lived a princess unlike any other. Her name was Princess Eloria. She was kind, she was gentle, she was intelligent, and above all else, she was extraordinarily lazy. Eloria was not lazy in the way of cruelty or carelessness. She never refused help to the poor, never mocked the servants, and never spoke unkindly. But when it came to effort, movement, or urgency, she treated them like distant relatives, acknowledged but rarely invited in. While other princesses in history were known for bravery, wisdom, or sacrifice, Princess Eloria was famous for one thing alone. She preferred doing nothing. The royal palace of Lumeria was vast, filled with echoing halls, crystal chandeliers, and balconies overlooking the kingdom. Yet Eloria could usually be found in just one place, her private chamber. Her bed was said to be the softest in the realm, layered with silks and feathers imported from distant lands. Cushions were stacked like clouds. Curtains were always half drawn, allowing just enough sunlight to warm the room without disturbing her peace. Every morning, servants would arrive with breakfast trays, announcements, schedules, and requests from the court. And every morning, Eloria would respond the same way. "Later," she would say gently, turning to the other side. The king, Alaric of Lumeria, loved his daughter dearly. After the queen's passing many years earlier, Eloria had become the center of his world. He excused her habits as grief, then as personality, and finally as fate. "She will grow into herself," he often said. But the kingdom waited. Eloria had tutors, many of them. Scholars of history tried to teach her about past rulers. Strategists attempted to explain diplomacy and defense. Priestesses spoke of duty, balance, and purpose. Eloria listened politely, she nodded thoughtfully, then she yawned. "Must we do this today? The mind learns better when rested." Eventually, tutors stopped pushing. Lessons became shorter, expectations became lower, and slowly, quietly, the kingdom began to adapt, not around Eloria's potential, but around her absence. Years passed. Eloria grew into a young woman of remarkable beauty and calm presence. She spoke slowly, moved gracefully, and carried herself like someone who never rushed because she had never needed to. But beyond the palace walls, the world did not move slowly. Trade routes weakened. Border villages faced small but growing threats. Petitions piled up unanswered. The king handled everything himself, though age was beginning to bend his back and slow his steps. "Let the princess decide," advisors would suggest. "She is not ready," the king would reply, though his voice carried more worry each time. One autumn morning, something unusual happened. The palace bells rang, not in celebration, but in alarm. A messenger arrived, breathless and pale. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing deeply, "the river Solon has stopped flowing." The court gasped. The river Solon was the lifeblood of Lumeria. It watered the fields, powered mills, and fed the people. "How can a river stop?" the king demanded. "No one knows," the messenger replied. "But the water, it is simply gone." The king turned instinctively toward Eloria's chamber. "Wake the princess," he said. Eloria listened as the situation was explained. She sat up slightly, pulling a blanket around her shoulders. "That sounds exhausting," she said softly. "Surely the engineers can handle it." "They cannot," the king replied. The source of the river lies beyond our borders. This requires diplomacy, leadership." Aloria sighed. "Must it be today?" The king looked at his daughter, not with anger, but with quiet sadness. "Yes," he said, "it must." Still, Aloria did not rise. And so the king left, carrying the weight alone. Days passed. Fields began to dry. Bread became scarce. The people whispered. "Why does the princess do nothing?" they asked. Some defended her, some resented her. All of them waited. Then, one evening, the king collapsed, not from illness, but from exhaustion. The palace fell silent. For the first time in her life, Princess Aloria stood in a room where no one told her what to do. Aloria sat beside her father's bed through the night. She watched his chest rise and fall, slower than it once had. For the first time, rest felt heavy. She realized something frightening. Doing nothing had been easy only because someone else had been doing everything, and now there was no one left to carry the burden. At dawn, Aloria made a decision. Not a brave one, not a bold one, but a necessary one. She ordered a horse prepared. The servant stared in disbelief. "You are traveling, Your Highness?" "Yes," she said quietly. "I suppose I must." Thus began the slowest heroic journey in the history of Lumeria. Aloria traveled reluctantly, complaining often, resting frequently, and questioning every step. But she continued. After days of travel, she reached the mountains where the river Solon was born. There, she found the truth. The river was not blocked by stone or magic, but by neglect. The guardians who once maintained the river's balance had abandoned their duty, believing the kingdom no longer cared. "Why should we work," they asked, "when your leaders never come?" Aloria felt shame, not sharp, but deep. She realized laziness was not just personal, it was contagious. Aloria did not fight. She did not threaten. She did not command. Instead, she stayed. She listened. She helped. Slowly, imperfectly, but sincerely. Day by day, she worked aside the guardians. And though she remained tired, she did not stop. Something inside her changed, not suddenly, but steadily. When the river finally flowed, it did not rush. It moved calmly, steadily, like Aloria herself. The kingdom rejoiced. But when the princess returned, she did not return to her bed. She returned to the throne. Aloria never became energetic. She never enjoyed hard work. But she learned something far more important. Rest is a gift, but responsibility is a choice. She ruled slowly, she ruled thoughtfully, and she ruled present. The people no longer called her the lazy princess. They called her Aloria the steady. And the kingdom learned that sometimes the greatest journey is not from comfort to courage, but from avoidance to awareness.